Alright guys, so I want to just go through a couple examples on here. Notice something big here is that this is the vertex point. Some of you guys like to put it like as if it's an x-intercept, but it is the vertex. Make sure it gets to a vertex. And this is just some other point. It can go anywhere. It can be your y-intercept. It could be your x-intercept. For example, this has an x-intercept of 1, so we could place it there. Also an x-intercept -3. Notice it'll go through there. It varies because you're going to get different forms of each problem. So what we need to do is figure out what is the vertex, though. That's obviously an importance here. So let me just screenshot this and we'll go ahead and take a look at what the vertex would be. So we know our x-intercepts, as you did in the previous assignment, the x-intercepts are going to be 1 and -3. So in order to figure out the x for the vertex, though, we're going to add those and divide by 2. So I'll get -2/2, which is -1. And then for the y value, I'll substitute that into the function. So we'll have -5/4 times -1 minus 1 times -1 plus 3, and that's -5/4 times -2 times 2, which is -5/4 times -4, and that's going to be +20/4, or you could have just canceled those 4's to begin with if you saw that, and you're going to see that if you simplify, you get 5 as your answer. So our vertex is going to be the coordinates -1, 5. So I'm going to go to -1, go up 5, and right there is where I'm going to stick the vertex. So I already put my x-intercept at 1. I'm going to put the vertex there. And there you go. Let's see, standard form. So this one, notice the y-intercept's really easy. Why not just stick that on the y-intercept at 3 right now? Call that done. So now we just need to figure out where our vertex goes. So for this one, we'll use that formula x equals -b/2a. So that's going to be -16/2 times 8, which is -1. Plug that back in for our y value for the vertex. And I'll get 8 minus 16 plus 3, which is -8 plus 3, giving me -5. So the coordinates -1, -5, which would be right there. Let me zoom out so you can see that. So -1, -5, that's where I'm going to put that vertex at. And that should be correct. And there we go. Vertex form, this one's a little bit different. Notice there's no shift up or down. This is just going to shift to the right 2 on our vertex, and it's not going to go up or down. If we had a number like +1, we would shift that up 1, or -3 right there, I would shift it down 3. But now we got to figure out another point. So this point, you can substitute in any number to figure it out, but you got to be careful because there's a fraction. So my recommendation is from the vertex, count over 2 spaces. So obviously the y-intercept would be something that would be good. Why 2 spaces? Because the denominator is 2. That's going to cancel out our fraction. So I'm going to go 2 to the right. 1, 2. So right there. Let's plug in a 4. So I'm going to plug in a 4. Let's see what our y value is. So -3/2 times 4 minus 2 squared is -3/2 times 2 squared, which would be -3/2 times 4. And that would be -12/2, getting me -6. So 4 -6, which would be right there. Makes sense because it's a negative in front. It should be facing down. So 4 -6 will be my other point. You could have gone 2 to the left and plugged in 0. Think about that. -2 squared is also 4 times. It would also get you -6, which is the same thing. Notice that you plug in 0, you get -6. There is symmetry there, and that should be